guys, it's Ro. I am so excited for the holidays and I got so many requests from you guys to make some homemade recipes. This video is gonna be something that we've never done before. It is gonna be two parts. The first part, I'm gonna be making 3 of my favorite homemade Thanksgiving recipes. And the second part I thought would be super helpful for you guys because after Thanksgiving, I'm always left with a lot of leftovers. So I came up with these 3 Thanksgiving leftover recipes that are quick, easy, they save time, and they're really yummy. Also, a big thank you to Walmart for supporting me and collaborating with me to make this video. I found all of the fresh ingredients, actually all of the ingredients that we're using in the recipes today at Walmart. Let's get started. The first is gonna be holiday stuffing from scratch. The things you will need will be 1 large loaf of French bread, fresh parsley, enough for half a cup minced, fresh thyme, enough for about a 1/4 cup minced, fresh rosemary, enough for a 1/4 cup minced, 4 medium carrots, which should give us about 1 cup diced, 4 stalks of celery, which should also give us about 1 cup diced, 2 cups of vegetable stock, 2 medium onions, which should be about 2 cups diced, 2 Granny Smith apples, 8 tablespoons of butter, half a cup of sliced almonds, and some salt and pepper to taste. The first thing that we're gonna do to make our stuffing is cut our fresh bread into little cubes. Here we've got a cutting board and a bread knife. It's serrated, makes it a little bit easier. We're gonna cut in the middle and cut a few slices about 1/2 inch thick, which will give us nice little cubes. But you can make them any size you want. Then stack them on the side, cut some strips. We're gonna cut vertical and then horizontal. Keep doing this until you've cut up your entire loaf. After all the bread is cut, we're gonna place our little bread cubes onto 2 baking sheets lined with a piece of parchment paper so that they won't stick to the bottom while they're baking. Spread evenly, and then we're gonna pop these in the oven at 300 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. Now, in a medium-sized bowl, we are gonna combine our fresh vegetables and herbs. I have diced our onion, carrots, and celery and minced our parsley, thyme, and rosemary. This is looking great. We actually don't need to mix it up because we are gonna bring this bowl, salt, pepper, butter, a saucepan, and a wooden spoon over to the stove. Place your pan on the stove and turn the heat to medium. Melt your butter in the bottom of the pan and then stir in all of your veggies and herbs. Add some salt and pepper to taste and cook for about 10 minutes until soft, stirring occasionally. Turn off the heat and set off to the side to cool. We've got our veggies and herbs cooling over here. Now we are gonna chop up our apples. The first thing that we do to chop up our apple is we're gonna cut off 4 sides around the core. We don't want the core. Just like we did with the bread, we're gonna cut little cubes. And now we can assemble all of our stuffing. We're gonna place everything into our big bowl of bread cubes. This part of the stuffing is called the aromatics because it smells so good. Then we're gonna add our sliced almonds. Last but not least, pour in all of the vegetable stock. Then mix together using your big wooden spoon until well combined. Our stuffing is almost ready to bake. Here I have a large casserole dish. I've greased the bottom and the sides with some butter, and we're gonna pour all of our stuffing inside. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's ready to bake. Now we're gonna pop it in the oven at 325 degrees and bake for about 40 minutes or until your stuffing turns a light golden brown. I can't wait. Ta-da! There you have it, our homemade stuffing. I just took it out of the oven and it is ready to serve. The next recipe that we're gonna be making is my sweet potato casserole. I use sweet potatoes in a lot of dishes that I make because I love them. The things you will need will be, for the sweet potato mash, 4 large sweet potatoes, half a cup of butter, 2 large eggs, half a cup of coconut milk, half a cup of brown sugar packed, half a cup of coconut sugar, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and half a teaspoon of salt. And then for the topping, you will need 1 cup of chopped pecans, half a cup of brown sugar packed, 6 tablespoons of butter, 6 tablespoons of flour, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. The first first thing to make our sweet potato casserole is to prep our sweet potatoes. In front of me, I've got our 4 potatoes and a peeler. We're gonna peel all of the skin off. The potatoes are peeled, and now we will cut them into cubes. After you cut off the ends, cut the potato hot dog style, the long way. One more time, and lastly, turn and cut them into little cubes. After you've cubed all of your sweet potatoes, take them and a big sauce pot of water over to the stove. Ding, 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 ding. With the pot on the stove, add some salt to the water and turn the heat to high. Bring to a boil and very carefully add in your sweet potatoes. Cover with a lid and cook until tender, which usually takes about 10 minutes. Then turn off the heat and remove the pot from the stove. Our sweet potatoes are fresh, hot off the stove, and now it is time to mash them up. I strain the potatoes, put them into a large bowl. You can still see the steam coming up. To mash our potatoes, I'm using a hand mixer. Just makes it a little bit easier. Keep mashing until it's nice and smooth. Uh-oh. And you want to make sure you have both the beaters in there before you start mixing. Now we get to add the rest of our ingredients. We've got coconut milk, butter, which I've melted, brown sugar and coconut sugar, 2 eggs, vanilla extract, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and salt. Then mix together once again until well combined. The sweet potato mixture is ready. I've got a 2-quart casserole dish greased with a little bit of butter on the bottom and sides. So just take the mixture and pour it in. I like to smooth it out, just to give a little jiggle. Now we're ready to make our pecan topping. I'm gonna set this off to the side. To make our pecan topping, in a medium bowl, we mix our dry ingredients first, starting with our chopped pecans, brown sugar, flour, and cinnamon. Then using a spatula, mix together. Once mixed, add in the butter, which I've melted, and mix again. This is what the pecan topping should look like. Now, gently using your hands, sprinkle it over the top of the dish. This sweet potato casserole is ready to bake. You're gonna heat your oven to 350 degrees and bake for about 35 to 40 minutes. Our sweet potato casserole is ready to serve. The next recipe that we are going to make is a fresh cranberry sauce. I like to put this on just about all of my Thanksgiving food because it's so good. The things you will need will be 12 ounces of fresh cranberries, the zest and juice of 1 orange, 1 cup of apple juice, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, salt and pepper to taste, and half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. The first step to make our cranberry sauce is to zest and juice an orange. I like to zest before I juice, so take your zester and zest the entire orange. But when you see white, stop. We don't want any of that stuff. I'm just gonna put it over here to a little small bowl. Now we get to juice our orange. Start by cutting your orange in half. Just take one of the halves, place it over the top, and press down and twist. It gives you a bit of an arm workout. Do you even juice, bro? 'Cause I do. Now, in a medium-sized saucepan, we are going to combine our fresh cranberries. Don't forget to rinse them off. You want to wash them. Apple juice, orange zest, and maple syrup. Now, take your saucepan and a spatula over to the stove. Turn your heat to medium-high and bring to a boil. Once boiling, turn the heat down to medium-low and cook until the cranberries start to burst and the juice thickens. This usually takes about 10 minutes. Remember to stir occasionally. Remove the cranberry sauce from the heat and take it back to your baking station. I took the cranberry sauce off the stove and poured it into a bowl. It's still hot. You can see the steam coming up, so be careful. I'm now ready to add some spices, our cinnamon, and just a little bit of pepper and salt to bring out the flavor. Then mix it up till it's well combined. This smells so good, you guys. My whole kitchen smells like fresh cranberry magic cinnamon deliciousness. Oh, that smells good. Last step, pour it into a serving dish. I am using a simple white bowl. Here's the delicious cranberry sauce that we made today. It will go good on just about anything that you're having for Thanksgiving. Ta-da! Here here are the 3 Thanksgiving recipes that we made today using a ton of fresh ingredients I found at Walmart. We made holiday stuffing, sweet potato casserole, and fresh cranberry sauce. These are some of my favorite homemade holiday recipes that I wanted to share with you guys. I really hope you enjoyed them, but we are not done cooking good looking. This concludes part 1 of the video, and now it's time for part 2. What are we gonna do with all these inevitable Thanksgiving leftovers? We will be making 3 all-new recipes using these dishes as ingredients. Let's get started. The first recipe that we're gonna be making are these quick and easy stuffing muffins using the leftover stuffing. The things you'll need will be 3 cups of leftover stuffing, 6 eggs, 6 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of water, 1/4 a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 a teaspoon of pepper. The first thing that we're gonna do to make our stuffing muffins is we're gonna scoop our leftover stuffing into a greased pan. Most people use a muffin pan, but I didn't have one. I only had a cupcake pan, so that's okay too. You can use a cupcake pan. I like to do a heaping scoop into each cavity, which is about 2 tablespoons. You don't want to pack it in, you just want to gently place it in. Next, we are going to mix together our eggs, salt, pepper, and water into a large measuring cup. Squish, 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 squish. When it looks like scrambled eggs, add your flour. Whisk together until there are no more lumps. Our egg flour mixture is ready. Now fill each of your muffins about 75% full, because when they bake, they will rise. The muffins are ready to bake. You're going to heat your oven to 375 and bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. Once they've baked, they're hot, fresh, and ready to serve. I love this recipe. 1, because I love stuffing, and 2, because it's really easy. I think it's the perfect morning after Thanksgiving recipe. And now I'm just gonna do a test. That's the stuff in. The next recipe that we're gonna be making are some sweet potato pancakes from our leftover sweet potato casserole. The things you will need will be 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of leftover sweet potato casserole, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt, 4 tablespoons of melted butter, 4 teaspoons of honey, 1/4 a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 a teaspoon of nutmeg. The first thing that we're gonna do to make our pancakes is we are gonna whisk together in a medium bowl all of our wet ingredients, starting with our leftover sweet potato casserole. I left some of the pecan topping mixed in so that when we're making pancakes, it will be a sweet potato pecan pancake. Yum, yum, yum. 2 eggs, Greek yogurt, honey, melted butter, and milk. Whisk together until well combined and set it off to the side. Now in a large bowl, whisk together your dry ingredients: flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Then just give it a quick whisk. We've got our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients. Now we'll put them together. Pour all of your wet ingredients into the dry, then mix together until combined. You don't need to overmix. Our batter is ready. It's time to make some pancakes. You can make these in a pan over on the stove, but I got this electric griddle a couple months ago and I'm loving it, so I'm gonna put it to some good use. I turned the heat to 300 degrees and I've lightly greased the pan. I'm gonna scoop 1/4 a cup of batter. I'm just gonna pour it into the middle of my pan, and then I like to use the back end of the scoop to make my pancake shape nice and round. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And look, those are the pecans. Let your pancake cook for about a minute, minute and a half, until little bubbles start to form all over the top. Then using a spatula, flip it over and cook on the other side. And make as many pancakes as you'd like. Ta-doo! And there you have it, sweet potato pancakes from our leftover sweet potato casserole. I've got a stack over here to share, and then I've got a little stack for me. I like these with a little bit of maple syrup on the top and sometimes a little bit of powdered sugar. I know I said these were to share, but I think I'm just gonna share with myself today. The last leftover recipe that we're gonna be making are these Thanksgiving turkey crayon sandwiches. The things you'll need will be a loaf of sourdough bread, provolone cheese, some leftover cooked turkey, leftover cranberry sauce, and leftover holiday stuffing. The last recipe is super simple and very customizable because you can use whatever type of bread you'd like, or your favorite cheese, or whatever leftovers you have from Thanksgiving that go well together. Growing up after Thanksgiving, my family and I would eat turkey sandwiches all week, which there's nothing wrong with a basic turkey mustard sandwich, but over the years I have upped my game and I made a sandwich that's a little bit fancier. In front of me, I've got the electric griddle again. I'm gonna turn it on to 300. If you don't have one of these, you can use a panini press, a George Foreman, or make your sandwich in a pan over the stove. First step, we're gonna put a slice of fresh bread onto the griddle. Right after, we're gonna put a slice of cheese. We've got some of our extra cranberry sauce, which I'll put on the top. Scoop a little stuffing, add a slice of turkey. Last, place on the second slice of bread and flip over. Toast on the other side and it's ready to serve. That's like Thanksgiving in a sandwich. Ta-da! Here are all the Thanksgiving leftover recipes that we made today. Stuffing muffins, sweet potato pancakes, and Thanksgiving turkey crayon sandwiches. I hope you guys enjoyed all the recipes we made today. This was the first time that I have ever made 6 recipes in one video. In the first part of the video, I made some of my favorite homemade Thanksgiving recipes, and then in the second part of the video, we made some Thanksgiving leftover recipes. I'll be posting a bunch of photos and these recipes on RosannaPansino.com, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, so you can check it out there. And if you guys make these, please take a picture and send it to me. I love seeing your creations. It just makes my day. It makes me happy. And again, a big thank you to Walmart for supporting me and collaborating with me to make this video possible. All of the ingredients that we used in the recipes today, I found at Walmart. I don't know if you guys know this, but Walmart now carries fresh and locally grown fruits and veggies, and I just think it's super cool. I dig it. All right, that does it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Let me know in the comments below one thing that you are grateful for. All right, bye-bye.